name is Brendan Hayden McCarthy. Today I will be bringing you a presentation on the lack of courage in the face of adversity. So let's firstly define courage. What is courage? By definition, courage is the mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. Now, what does this mean to me? I'm going to read you the scripture from the Bible, Ephesians 6:13. Therefore, good courage must be taken. We must take hold of real promises given by the real God, so that having done all, we can stand firm on the evil day. Now, what does this mean? Paul the Apostle is telling us to have faith in the Lord directly. However, indirectly, he's telling us to have faith in our brothers and sisters, have role models, and choose people to put above, like Jesus was. And we will get more into that later throughout the slideshow. In the presentation today, I'll be looking in depth on three specific lenses and how they directly correlate to the courage and the lack thereof in today's world. Courageous leaders in history. Throughout society, men and women have stepped up to the plate in times of need. These men and women share one main trait, and this trait is courage. Dr. King was an avid leader of the civil rights movement. Throughout peaceful protests, he fought for the rights that African American people had deserved as human beings for generations. Franklin Delano Roosevelt came into office during the great turmoil of the Great Depression. As president of the U.S., he had to deal with the Great Depression through calculated political and economic decisions. He managed to set the USA back on track. Abe, also known as Abraham Lincoln, was president of the United States, 16th president. During Lincoln's first term, Civil War broke out. One of the main causes was the South wanting slaves and the North wanting abolition. Lincoln supported the abolition movement and stood strong. And finally, Jacob Lawrence. He was a painter of Confrontation on the Bridge, which is the depiction of the 1965 Selma to Montgomery, Alabama voting marches. And he showed bravery by making this painting. So, FDR was quoted in his inaugural speech, "My firm belief is that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself." The first few words as president showed that he deserved it. Through taking charge and giving reassurance, FDR put water on the fire that was happening in the nation. That was the Great Depression. A courageous act from a great leader. Similar to FDR, Lincoln reassured the nation. In his famed Gettysburg Address, he reminded the nation of the core to, and I quote, "dedicate the proposition that all men are created equal." This excerpt from both his speech and the Constitution shows his courageousness. MLK said in his famed "I Have a Dream" speech, that one of his dreams was to have black and white children be able to have friends. And by saying this, he showed his bravery during the March on Washington and put his ideologies on the map and himself in danger, which he later got executed for his ideologies. And Confrontation on the Bridge by Jacob Lawrence. Confrontation on the Bridge is a depiction, like I said, of the Voting Rights March. The dog in this image, as you can see here, represents the police opposing them. The man in front here can be seen as courageously defending them and standing up. And what they were doing itself was very courageous, as they were standing up and fighting for civil rights that they knew they deserved. Okay, that brings us into why has courage become a scarce trait in today's society? This reasoning is simple. Society and its standards have dropped. Now, what are some viable solutions? My first solution is having role models in society to talk to. The public through speeches and attempting to reform the educational system. A shown initiative can lead to success. And disagreements between two role models. However, disagreements between role models can confuse and deter people. Interpretation of youth can be good or bad, as the youth mind is very volatile, so they can interpret both ways, depending on how you present it. My second solution is display of possible incentives. Courage can lead to success through programs and addressing education. This message can get across. pros and cons. Showing the willingness to make change can make change. This would motivate many to success. However, motivation only lasts for so long, and consistency keeps you there. And this does not have that. And it will also give up the wrong reasons for success, which is money. So, my third and final solution is pressuring the youth educational system. Through programs in school, teaching children about courageous people from the past in our history classes, and evolving the system to benefit children, we can solve this issue at hand. Children are the future of society, and teaching children are the future of society, and teaching children and giving them positive role models can lead to success. Youth can interpret it good or bad, as we said before, so that can be a positive or negative, but I feel if we teach them right, that this could be a positive. Now, what is my recommended solution? My personal recommendation would be the latter. Pressuring educational system would affect long term, as children are the future of our society. The children will be the next members of our society, and therefore, if they are taught and brought up in the right way, they can therefore make the society a better place. Reform the educational system will lead to an overall societal change. And that's the pros and cons. And this is my works cited, and that's all, folks.
All right, so we have some questions for you.
Yep.
How did your research question evolve as you moved through the research process? Did your research go in a different direction than you originally planned?
Yes, it actually did. My initial thing was just courage in the face of adversity, and then I felt like I didn't really think it was a problem at first, but then as I researched it more and went through the stimuli and all the other information that I showed, I realized that it was a problem in society today, and people were more courageous back in the day. So what I did was I changed it to the lack of courage in the face of adversity rather than just courage in the face of adversity and describing that. So I tried to solve that issue.
Okay. And then lastly, how does your conclusion respond to any of the other research or sources you examined?
Can you repeat that question, please?
Sure. How does your conclusion respond to any of the other research or sources you examined?
So pressuring the youth educational system was a big thing that a lot of people had a solution for. However, I feel like the way I described it and the way that it was portrayed to me through variable different sources that I cited, I felt that the way that I did it, I cherry-picked from different sources, and I feel like the way that I chose was going to be the most beneficial for society in the future.
Okay. Thank you very much.